Whoa, hold on. I know you clicked on this video. Don't click away. I literally, dude, I know where you are. You are scouring the internet just for different car sales videos, step by steps, guides. I I've been selling cars for a year. Watch to the end of this video. I'm gonna go over 1 through 10, just 10 mistakes I have made as a car sales guy within the first year. It's gonna save you a whole lot of money, a whole lot of headache, a whole lot of deals. Because if I would have known this before I started to sell cars, man, I would have saved a whole lot of deals. Let me tell you what. So continue on. I'm gonna try my best to just talk as smoothly as I can to not make any cuts, but it is what it is. If I make a mistake, bear with me. I wrote notes so I get this completely accurate. So, first mistake, focusing too much on the sale than the customer. Focusing too much on the sale than the customer. When you get a customer, you have to slow down. I know you want that sale. I still get the same way. When I get when I get the customer and I'm sometimes desperate to sell that car, I'm rushing and I'm not slowing down to ask enough questions. You're going to want to slow down. Ask the right questions. Most dealerships will have a needs analysis sheet, or a guest sheet as we call it. It's pretty much a sheet that has a list of questions. It has the customer's info. You put their address, phone number. It's got everything on there. Financing, what their expected payment they want to be at. It's got everything on there. So you want to kind of go down, and it's not an interview. You don't want to make the customer feel like you're interviewing them. You want to make the customer feel like you're their friend. Bring down their guard. Just kind of make small talk, like, hey, who's the car going to be for? What are you going to be using the car for? Like commuting to work? Is it, is it for the big family? Is it just something smaller or a gas saver? Focus on the customer first, then the sale. Because there's been many times where I get a customer and they come up to me and say, look, I'm ready to buy. I have my insurance check. Hypothetically, I've got my insurance check, or like, because they just wrecked a car, so they got that money. Or they come in and say, look, my mother-in-law, she needs a car, and so we're ready today. And I get so excited. I'm like, this is a deal, done deal. So I kind of rush through it, and then towards the end, I'm showing them the numbers. Yeah, I want to think about. We're going to go ahead and go to lunch. We're going to think about it, think it over, and we'll let you know. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm sitting there like starstruck. Whoa! What happened? Like, did I do something? No. You were great. No, we love you. Actually, I mean, we just want to think about it. The customer's not going to tell you why they're leaving. It's happened a few times to me. So slow down and just don't make it seem like you're interviewing the customer, but you do need to gather all the information you can to land them on the right car. The moment you stop focusing on the customer and start focusing on just getting them to sign all the papers, they'll lose you. They'll lose trust. Mistake number two. Again, look at my notes, so don't lose track. I have a tendency to to go off on tangents, and then I never knew where I started. So, keeping myself on track and on schedule. Falling. All right, let me see here. Failing to properly qualify customers. So, failing to properly qualify customers. So this comes again with the needs analysis. You're in the beginning stages of the sale. You're asking them the right questions. Like, have you financed a car before? And if they say yes, ask them what bank they've financed the car for, or you just ask them like, look, on a scale from 1 to 10, like, what would you rate your credit? And sometimes it can be a little bit touchy asking that question, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that they're buying a car. So regardless of whatever they're gonna do, we're gonna have to look at your credit, like no matter what. So the questions are gonna come up, like what's your credit? But sometimes you want to kind of approach it slowly. So what I'll do sometimes is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your credit? Um, and then if they kind of come off standoffish, like, oh, like, why are you asking me? Like, just because the only reason I ask is just because sometimes customers are top tier credit, and in that case, I can show you all the cars in the whole world. But in other cases, some customers know that maybe their credit is a little bit lower, so that will limit the cars that you can actually get it qualified for. But some customers don't know it all, um, and so mistake. Where does a mistake come in that I have made? There has been some customers where I have, and this was in the beginning stages of me selling cars, so I had to learn from me. Ask these questions so you can find out in the beginning, because I have gone through the whole process of showing them a car, and they told me their credit was good. And in that case, maybe you can't do much about it. I mean, they're the ones that told you that their credit was good. We're just kind of going based off of what they're saying, because I haven't done a credit application yet. But this is where you kind of, the more questions you ask, you can kind of get the hint. Maybe their credit has gone down a little bit. Sometimes I straight up ask the customer, like, have you had any repos? Have you had any bankruptcies? Have you been late on any payments? Because the bank is going to look at that. And that's how they're going to determine on what your rate is, if you can get approved or not. So you have to ask those questions. For some customers in the beginning stages of me selling cars, I never asked those questions. So come to find out, they can't even get the dang car. We just went on a test drive, did all this stuff. They've given me all the info that the bank's asking for, like bank statements and all that stuff. Can't even get approved on the car. And I've just spent 3 hours with them, 4 hours with them. And then they leave without a car, and that's not a deal. When in the beginning, maybe I should have maybe asked more questions, like, hey, look, how about we fill out the credit application first before me showing you cars, and let's see if we can get you approved on something. Um, but let's be real, sometimes you just don't know if they can get approved or not. Maybe they know that their credit's perfect, and then you show them the cars, and then you find out the hard way. Number 3, understanding the power of follow-up. Look, dude, you have to follow up with every single one of your customers, and I do this to this day. So I'm like 95% good with following up with everyone, but every once in a while, you're going to have a customer that's ready to buy that same day, and you don't follow up with them. Someone else is going to take that deal. They're going to come in, and you haven't set that appointment. You haven't followed up. And yeah, you might have talked to them in the beginning of that day, but if you don't follow up with them and verify the time that they're coming in, they've only spoken to you once, and the chances of them remembering your name are very slim. So if they've talked to you and you've told them that the car is available and you don't follow up, they're going to come in and buy a car from someone else, and you've just lost that deal. And then a day later, you're gonna go into that lead or whatever, and it's gonna say sold. You're gonna be like, dude, like that was my customer, but since you didn't follow up and you didn't set that appointment, every dealership's gonna be a little bit different. The way the dealership works where I'm at is, if you don't set that appointment, and it's not, and like if they come in and they don't ask for you, like, sayonara to that customer, because that's someone else's. That's just how it is, and it sucks. So that's why you have to follow up and set that appointment. As soon as you get that appointment, you have to put that appointment in the CRM, whatever CRM you use. Because if you set the appointment but you don't put it in the system, you lost a deal. That's it. You're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of deals that way. You have to follow up regardless. Um, Number 4, and I'm glancing over here at my notes so I don't get sidetracked. Look, it's let's see here what I wrote down. Not knowing your inventory inside and out. This is horrible. Absolutely horrible. If you get a customer and they're asking for a certain price range of car, a certain brand of car, there's 2 different types of salespeople. You have to be the one to be like, oh yeah, 2011 Ford Focus, dude, I got one over here. Let's follow me. Let's go outside and look at it. It's parked right over there. It's like the 3rd car down. It has 110,000 miles on it. The blue one, right? Yeah, the blue one. Perfect. Let's go walk over there. Take a look at the outside. If you haven't seen it already, if you like it, let me go grab the keys for you. You don't have to exactly do that process, but if you know 100% that the car is sitting right over there, and you know the miles, you know what color it is, and you know kind of have an idea if it's got a funky smell in it or not. The point is, you know that the car is there. There has been some times where I, like for the day, I just have it done my inventory walk, which by the way, you're going to want to do an inventory walk every morning to know what cars you have in your inventory. It's like your own business, your own store. You have to know what inventory you have in order to sell it. So if a customer comes on the lot and they are asking for some random used car that they saw online on your website, and you tell them like, "Oh, I'm not sure if we have that," and you're trying to remember the inventory like from yesterday maybe, and then you tell them like, "Nah, we don't have that car," dude, and you do have that car. Horrible. I mean, they leave the lot, and then you go walk your lot, and you got the dang car that they came in for. This happened once to me. One time, and it'll never happen again. And look, I got the number, so I ended up calling back, and I'm like, "Hey, like, I made something up." I was like, because I felt so dumb in the moment. "Hey, we have the car available. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, it wasn't showing up on the system, or like it was in the service department, but yeah, we got it." And then they turned around and came back, and I had to look at it. But don't make that mistake. Know your inventory, so you know exactly where the cars are, and you know everything about the whole lot. Um, over over promising and under delivering. This is one thing that happens often. If someone buys a vehicle and yeah, if someone buys a vehicle and it still needs to go through the service department, and you tell them that it's going to be done in 3 days, and it ends up being done in all reality maybe a week, you think the customer is going to be happy? I made this mistake a few times when I was new. The mechanic told me, yeah, the car should be finished, tomorrow afternoon. The part comes in tomorrow morning. Come tomorrow, I go and I see if the part's here, and then the technician says, "Oh no, update, part's going to be here in a week." And now I've just promised the customer that the part is going to be here, tomorrow morning, and then the car is going to be finished with the service and everything later on that day, the next day. And so they're expecting it. They've called off of work, to come pick up the car. And now I call them up or I text them like, "Hey, got some news. Car's not going to be done until next week." And now they're over here sitting at home like they just took the day off of work to come get the car. And maybe they were just like getting dressed, getting ready to come over. And I just call them up and tell them like, "Hey, I just went to go verify everything. And now the technician telling me that the part's delayed." Set the right expectations and do not overpromise. What I typically tell the customer is, look, the vehicle needs to go through service, and that specific part that it needs, maybe it needs an oil filter or like something random. It is scheduled to come in tomorrow morning. but I have seen cases where it takes a little bit longer. So I don't want to promise you tomorrow or the next day, um, but I'm going to keep you updated as much as possible every day. Every update I get, I'm going to let you know. But what the technicians are telling me is it should be finished tomorrow. But again, I don't want to promise you that because I don't want to set an expectation that it's going to be finished. And if it's not finished, you're upset. So I'll tell that to the customer, and 100% of the time, they're cool with it. So don't make that mistake. Next, number 6, is neglecting online leads and digital tools. So this is one thing that I wrote down because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of online programs that these dealerships have where you can go back in the history of service records of past customers. And if you're just coming into work, just going about your day and not utilizing those tools to like call those people, because one thing about car sales is if you just go into work relying on like fresh ups, which are like, which is that's what we call them, that's the walk-ins. If you're just relying on those, you got it all wrong. You can sell quite a few cars just by walk-ins, but in your downtime, when there's no one walking in, you have to be on the phones, like calling people, calling previous customers, following up with internet leads, doing everything you can on the phone. If you don't have anyone to call, get with your managers to have them print out a list for people to call, and they will go on that system, that online system, CRM, and they will print out a list for you for people to call. So don't ignore it. You have to make phone calls. At almost every dealership, it's one of the requirements. You have to make phone calls. So they want you to make money. You want to make money, right? So going to work, don't expect people to just walk through the door. You have to call people. Another one is do not be too pushy and aggressive. I have trained myself now to be kind of just a calm sales guy. Yeah, I can help you. If you're not interested, but when you have to read the customer. I feel like that one is really, really, really important. You have to read the customer to the best of your ability. Sometimes if you get a customer that maybe you're not vibing with, you can potentially split the deal with someone else. Um, I never have that happen to me. I can always kind of figure out like their personality, and if I need to be more aggressive and a little bit pushy, just in order to kind of get them to, I don't know, if I have to turn up the heat a little bit, I can. But for the most part, if I get a customer that's just a normal person, I'm not going to be pushy at all because they've typically been into another dealership where there's been pushy people and they kind of just get turned off by it. And then you blow them out, you leave, or they leave. So, rule of thumb, do not be pushy, do not be aggressive. And then if you can kind of tell you're with a pretty hard-headed person, or they're on their high horse, or whatever the case is, turn up the heat when you need to, and kind of matching their energy is very important. If you get a super calm person, kind of be quieter and more calm. If you get a really loud person, you got to be loud back. Yeah, whatever. Match your energy. Helps a lot. It's called mirroring. If you don't really know much about it, go look up videos of like mirroring people, matching people's energy, people skills. Yeah, it'll help a lot. Look, the next one is, let me see here, ignoring the importance of building relationships. This one's going to be quick. It's important to build the relationship with your customer because the amount of referrals I've gotten, it's insane. When you're with your customer and you're just talking about normal stuff, life, kids, oh yeah, I bought my house 3 years ago. Like I live in this area. Like, oh, I think you live next to me, right? How many kids you have? Is this, that's why you're buying the van, huh? You have you're going to want to make friends with them. Building the relationship is, it will pay off because in the future, I mean, they won't even tell you. They'll just randomly show up with one of their friends. And they're like, or they'll text you like, hey, one of my friends or my neighbor, he wants to buy a car. This is their number. And then you call them up. And then I would say 99% of referrals are always deals because they trust you. Um, Build a relationship. Don't just sell them a car and that's it. Don't be dry. Whenever you get that customer, even if it's just, it seems like it's a super fast transaction, still try to build massive rapport from the beginning. And they'll remember you. They will remember your name, your face. They'll come back to see you. I have some customers that come back a little bit too much, but they do. They come back like probably twice a month, 3 times a month. They bring me snacks, food, and sometimes they buy another car. They trade it in. Um, failing to stay up to date with the newest trends in market. This is mistake number 9. Look, whatever new model comes out, whatever new vehicle comes out, learn the features, learn the different trim levels. When I was brand new at this dealership, yeah, there was mistakes I made. And sometimes people came and they asked what the differences were between the different trim levels. I'm going to tell you right now, it's embarrassing when they ask you this. And then you're like, does this one have heated seats? I don't know. Let me Google it, or like, it's embarrassing. Learn your stuff. Don't make the same mistake I did, like, and be complacent and maybe think you know it, because when they ask you kind of a tricky question, or like, not even a tricky question, a question that you should know the answer to because you're the sales professional and you should know your product. Don't make the same mistake I did. Learn your product, and you won't have any headaches when you're with a customer. You're going to be super confident, like, yeah, I know this product. Like, these are the differences. But I will say, there are some questions that come up where you're like, you remember that it was in the training, but it was like one small module and you can't really remember, the differences. That's just if you're brand new at the car business, you're going to have to learn the cars a little bit. So it comes with time. So learn your product to the best of your ability. Look, if you've made it this far into the video, stick with me. We're almost at the end. We've got number 8. Ignoring, yeah, number 9, yeah, okay, cool. Number 10, letting rejection impact you. Look, when you sell cars for a while, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to have a lot of rejections. A lot of people walk away. You can try and to sell them a car, and sometimes you have nothing there. And you can still try, and in the reality is sometimes you'll just have nothing there. What you're going to want to do is let it go and find your next customer. Find the next person. A few times in the beginning, have gone so long with a customer. I remember this lady. I went all the way to her house, and I picked up. She had 2 cars she wanted to trade in. I drove her pickup truck. She drove her car, her Acura, and we go all the way to the dealership. I mean, her house was like 20 minutes away. I'd been talking to her for like 2 weeks. She had a tragedy happened in her life, so I was super empathetic. I mean, she was a super nice lady, but I went way out of my way to help her. Come to find out, she was upside down on the truck, a little bit upside down on the car. She didn't want to roll over any negative equity. I spent so much time with her, and I got no deal out of it. Nothing. And the way that discouraged me so much, because I was like almost kind of brand new. And to put that much effort into something and it become no deal. I mean, the amount of time that I was thinking in my head, dude, I could have spent this much time allocating it to something else and maybe sold 2 or 3 cars, where I spent all this time and energy on this lady, um, which maybe that ties back into one of the other mistakes that I also made, is not fact finding all the way, asking the right questions, figuring out if like how much she owes, what bank she's financing with, if she's upside down at all. So if any of those mistakes resonates with you, whatever the word is, if you can relate to any of those mistakes, let me know in the comments down below. If I left one out, let me know. Like one of the other mistakes that just popped into my head is, I'm gonna get close for this one. Don't leave your computer unlocked when you walk away. The customer will inevitably start scrolling on the website. And this is after you've shown them the numbers. You're going back to your manager trying to get updated numbers. Excuse me. When you walk away and you leave that computer unlocked, it's only happened one time. The customer was scrolling through. They saw just the generic advertised rate on the internet, and sure enough, they went into the finance office expecting that rate, and their credit was far from perfect. They got the complete polar opposite of that rate. I think, just off the top of my head, I think they saw like 6% or 8% or something like that. Just a generic, like on the website. They went into the finance office and their rate was like 18 or 19%. And I didn't even get to say bye to them. Like I thought the deal was closed. And then my finance manager came up to me and said, "Hey, like we all went in there and tried." And they left. So don't leave your computer unlocked, because they're going to think that whatever they see online, that's where they can get. But sure enough, they weren't. Maybe if they had like perfect credit, again, these payments are with approved credit. And then this is just one of the online things. And plus, there's a little tool that you can click on that can move the credit on the website. So if you slide that slider all the way down to like a 580 credit score or something like that, then obviously you're going to see that little rate go up. And that's just the generic like website tool. But they saw what the rate was with an 800 credit score, and that's what they wanted. And let me tell you, they did not have an 800 credit score. So yeah, big mistake. Lost a deal. So nowadays, every time I walk away, you hit the different keys. I think it's the oh gosh, it's something L. Look it up. Whatever there's quick keys to it. You hit those, and it'll automatically lock your whole computer. Even if you like lock the screen, they'll if you walk away, if they're sneaky, they'll turn the screen on and they'll kind of like go through. I've left the computer open a few times, and I've gone back to the desk, and they're like kind of scrolling through the website, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just looking through the pictures." And I'm like, "Oh no, yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'll have a look at the pictures." But in the back of my head, I'm like, "Dude, don't leave your computer unlocked, because what if they see the rate on there and then they are super gung ho about getting that exact rate, and they aren't willing to understand that maybe they can't qualify for it, and you just lost a deal." So if you are in the car business and you have some big mistakes you want to add to it, leave them in the comment section below. Maybe because I can learn too. I've been doing this for 1 year, and I'm still learning. As I go on, I'm still learning the ins and outs of what goes into a car deal. And if you're thinking about getting into the car business, I have a few other videos that you can go click on. Kind of does a rough breakdown. This was kind of a more organized step by step, 1 through 10, kind of the 10 mistakes that I've made. The other ones are kind of a little bit more long-winded, and it's just me going on and telling you how the car business runs, and maybe how much money you can make, and how to overcome objections, and I don't know, just a bunch of random stuff. You can click through my videos and kind of see which one you want to see. If you have any questions, please let me know. There's probably a lot of stuff I missed. Let me know how long. Let me see how long I've been recording now here. I've been recorded a 30-minute video. I am going to give you back your time. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much. There's no cuts in this. I am leaving in all the fluff. This is just raw and unedited. This is just who I am. I kind of just... Yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.